I'm going to show you some moving bass line comping ideas you can use for All of Me. Of course, you can use these particular moves for this particular song. Ideally, you'll learn these bass lines and be able to apply them to other songs as well. Before we get into the main part of the lesson, I'm going to very briefly let you know that I teach private guitar lessons online and have several guitar books and solo arrangements available. If you're interested, check out my website. The link's in the description. I'm going to play through the entire accompaniment first, and then we'll break it down. Keep in mind a few things. First of all, for copyright reasons, I'm not going to play or sing the melody. And I'm keeping the basic comping pattern pretty simple with a standard boom chick with alternating bass. And as we go through the lesson, I'll flash up the chord forms I'm using. If you need to get up to speed on movable chords, check out some of the lessons in the description. Through most of this accompaniment, I'm alternating bass notes, playing roots and fifths. If the root of your chord is on the 6th string, the fifth of that chord will be on the 5th string, 2 frets higher. So root, 5, root, 5. If your root is on the 5th string, the fifth of your chord will be on the 6th string, same fret. So root, 5, root, 5. So looking at the first few chords in this song, here's our C6. I'm playing it here, so this is my root on the 5th string, and that's my 5th. Root, 5. I'm also playing my E7 root on the 5th string. So there's my root, there's my 5. Root, 5th, A7. I'm playing my root on the 6th string. So my 5th will be right here. There's my root, my 5th, root, 5th, and D minor 7, I'm playing my root on the 5th string. So there's my root, there's my 5th, root, 5. In addition to playing roots and fifths, I'm occasionally adding a chromatic passing tone to move from one bass note to the next. I'll point those out as we go. Looking at the bass line for the first 8 measures, or the first 2 lines, here's our root for our C6, and our 5th, and our root. And here's our first chromatic passing tone. Instead of playing another 5th, I'm doing a little chromatic line moving up to the root of the E7. And all I'm doing is 2 beats before my target note, my new root, I'm starting 2 frets lower and just playing up 1 fret at a time. So I've got my C6 root and my 5 and my root, then 2 frets below my target tone, I'm moving up to my root of my E7. Now sometimes it sounds better to go the other way, start 2 frets higher and move down. You just kind of have to try them and see what sounds best. Anyway, so my root for my E7 and my 5th and my root, and here's my 5th again, which is also the beginning of a new chromatic passing line. This one actually does start from the upper note and moves down, because our target note is this root for the A7, and this note that I'm playing right here, the 5th of this E7, is 2 frets higher than the A7. So again, all I'm doing is I'm thinking of my target tone, this time that A, and I'm starting 2 frets higher in this case. That's my root for A7 and my 5th, and my root, and my fifth, which is also the start of another chromatic passing line. Moving to the D minor 7, there's my root, and my fifth, and my root. And here I change it up a little bit. Instead of just playing quarter-notes and quarter rest, I'm going 1, 2, and 3, 4. So that's 1, 2, and on the and of 2, I'm playing my fifth for my D minor 7. And this little bit is a little chromatic line that's going to move to the beginning of an E7 chord at the beginning of the next line. So put that bass line together, we have and then to an E at the beginning of the next line, and then we can add some chords back in. Doing a little boom chick, boom chick, boom chick. And then to the next line. Measures 9 through 16, the next two lines, different set of chords, but the same idea except for measure 16, and we'll talk about that measure when we get there. So here's our E7 root, and a fifth, and a root, and a fifth, leading chromatically down to the root for this A minor 7. There's my root. Again, think of your target note and start either 2 frets higher or 2 frets lower. Experiment to see what sounds best. Root for the A minor 7, fifth, root, and fifth, which is also the start of a new chromatic line, leading to this D7, root, fifth, root, fifth, D minor 7, it'll be the same root, fifth, this time we do a chromatic line to the beginning of this G7, the root of this G7. Now here it's a little different. I'm not doing a chromatic line. The next chord is going to be a C6 with a C root. Instead of doing a chromatic line, I'm just playing up the scale. In this case, it's a C major scale starting on G. So G, A, B, and then to the C at the beginning of the next line. Also, I'm doing something a little different here as far as the rhythm of the chords. On this D minor 7, the measure before, instead of doing like boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, I'm doing 1 and. So I'm coming in on the and of 1 and letting it hold. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. So we go back to this E7, put those chords back in. Chromatic, chromatic, and I change it up here. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and up the scale to the next chord. Measures 17 through 24, the next two lines, are the same as the first two lines except for measure 24. So just like the beginning, we have roots and fifths starting on C6, root, 5. Chromatic line, E7 root, and 5. 5 and chromatic line, A7 root, and fifth. Chromatic, root, fifth, and then that's where I do something a little different. I switch to block chords right here. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So from where the D minor 7 starts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now the reason I'm doing this is because we're leading into the last couple lines where the melody changes and becomes more intense. And changing the pattern is a really good way of announcing to the listener that something different is about to happen. So backing up to this A7, and that takes us to the final 8 measures, or the last two lines, which I'm starting off with block chords. Counting for this F6 is 1 and 2 and 3. 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now I'm strumming this because I am holding a pick, even though I've been doing a lot of hybrid picking. So strum away. If you're hybrid picking, you could also just pick everything. Or if you're playing fingerstyle, of course you could pick or strum if you're playing fingerstyle as well. Personally, I like the strumming here. It's more intense as we're wrapping up the song. It's different from what we've done before, and the melody is different from what we've done before, so it kind of matches up. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So at the end of this A7 measure, I'm playing a single bass note, the fifth of the A7 chord, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And we're going to use this to transition back to more of a boom chick with a moving bass, at least for a couple measures. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And now we're going 1 and 2. And then fifth chromatic line, 1 and 2. So I'm holding that chord. And then we're doing that C scale walk up that starts on a G. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And then this is a C6-9 chord. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1. I'll do that more slowly. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1. And then hold right there. This chord right here, you can call this a B6-9 if you like. I didn't label it. I'm just thinking of this as a way to decorate that C6-9. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1. So we're using block chords to finish it out. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. I've got a similar video showing some moving bass ideas for I'm Beginning to See the Light, and check out this video if you're looking to get into jazz chords. And for more guitar lessons, music theory, and solo guitar arrangements, please subscribe.